Morning coffee with Cliff, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. You are in the right place, as always. As I check my sound levels, I realize you're in the right place. Good morning. Let me know where you are in the world. I almost was going to show my background here on the island. It's raining heavy again today. I'm not going to let that stop or control how I think or what I do today. I'm going to get done what I need to get done regardless of outside appearances. Isn't that always the message? Don't operate from outside circumstances, but from inside. And today, we're going to talk about some amazing concepts, principles that I don't normally talk about in a sense. But let me wait for 1,000 more people to jump on here before we start laying down some gems of wisdom between you and I, the both of us. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, join the community of progress. This could actually be a Monday motivational video meant from me to you. But of course, in every situation, when we are sharing good thoughts, ideas, we benefit just as much or more than the people that we share those with. Good morning. So glad you're here. You're in the right place. I'm Cliff Yates, everybody. I like going live in the vertical format of YouTube because I know it shows up in the shorts feed and it lets me connect with people who aren't already subscribed to the channel. Good morning. Glad you're jumping on here. I'm in the Thousand Island region of upstate New York, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to talk about today. The mindset that you have to have when you start manifesting success in your life. You have a right, and you will have earned your right, and you will have earned your abundance that you're experiencing. You know, and you've got your mind to the spot where you know it wasn't luck. Luck was a word that we made up to try to explain the consequences that we know from unknown causes. Well, there is a cause, there is a known reason for your success. But here's what you got to keep in mind. Here's why you have to have mind strength after your success. Because you're going to have abundance in your life. And you have every right to buy yourself a new car. And then people are going to say, oh, big shot now with a new car, right? And at first that might bother you. In some degree it will bother you, but of course you're going to learn that that's part of the territory. And maybe you're experiencing such abundance that you had your mind set on, and now you have the ability to buy your beach house. And so you buy your beach house. And then you're going to get the comments, right? Oh, what happened to your old house? Not good enough for you? Got to have a house on the beach. And that might bother you. It might sting a little bit because it might be from people who you thought were your friends, the friends that you thought were going to be happy for the good fortune that you're experiencing. So we need a mind strength after we start receiving success because people are going to try to pull you back down. It's like that old metaphor that Tony Robbins used to talk about of how they would catch these crabs. They would put this fish meat in the bottom of the bucket. The bucket was open. And then a crab would swim in. And then once a second crab swam in, whenever the next crab would try to swim out, the other crabs would pull that crab back down. And if they continued to try to climb out of the bucket, they would cut off that claw. They wouldn't let the other crabs escape. At any time, all of them could escape. But once there was more than one, the other one would always try to pull the other one down. So keep that in mind as you gain success in your life. People are going to try to pull you back down into that bucket. Don't let them do it. Make sure that your mind strength is of such veracity that you can survive that. You may end up hanging around a different crowd. You may get new friends and acquaintances. Just be prepared for it. Hey, good morning to you, my friend. I got to put your comment. Good morning, Jonathan Donner Yeah. Jonathan Donner 07. Good morning. So glad to see you. Glad to see you, my friend. Glad to have such positive comments this morning. I've got the V8 vegetable cocktail open and ready, drinking my vegetables. Hee. So glad, everybody. I'm having my morning coffee. I'm so glad you're joining me this morning. And that's the message this morning. You know what? You have greatness within you. As Les Robbins would say, you're going to have success in your life. You're going to manifest that because of how you're thinking and what you're doing. And guess what? As you begin to expand and express the abundance in your life, people are going to attack you. People are going to try to pull you down. People that you thought were your friends are all of a sudden going to have some animosity towards your good fortune. Maybe it's a way for them to explain their current circumstances, maybe their lack of success. Instead of coming to you for advice or support, maybe they're on the attack. You got to be prepared for that. It's going to happen to a certain degree with certain people. And then, just like when we're experiencing tragedy and we're in a winter season, we see our true friends. We're also going to see our true friends in our success. When the light is shining on us, when we're feeling abundance in our life, then also our true friends are going to be revealed. But be prepared for that. Don't be shocked or surprised by it. And now that you're thinking about it, that's going to be part of our preparation. My throat's a little scratchy this morning, but you know what's good about that? My speech is a little bit measured. All right, everybody, so glad you're here. The one, cognitive dissonance. That's what that metaphor was meant to represent. Oh, okay. Cognitive dissonance. I like that. I like the positive thoughts. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, everybody. So glad you're here. A lot of positive comments this morning. I hope I put everybody's comment on there. Yeah, cognitive dissonance. I like that. All right. Our thoughts become things. We need to keep our mind on positivity and the creative process. So true. We've got to think on purpose. Remember, your brain is going to default to the negative for a good reason. Why am I thinking to the negative? Your brain, your subconscious wants to keep you alive. That's the sole goal. I want to keep you alive, living and breathing. It doesn't want you to be happy, joyful, and living an abundant life. It's trying to just keep you alive. So sometimes we have to override the default to negativity, and we have to think joyful, positive thoughts with intention. That is the one thing that we have total power over, what we think. And that's going to create the emotions in us, the feelings, and the vibration. Remember what Bob Proctor said about the movie The Secret. What he said was, the law of attraction was a secondary power, a secondary law. The first law was the law of vibration. First comes the vibration that we're on, the frequency. And that's the circumstance and the people that we're going to attract in our life by our frequency, our vibration. And once you start to practice it and become more aware and conscious of it, you're going to see it everywhere you go. You're going to see it when you get that concept, that understanding that everything is vibrating. Even this table. This table seems like it's stationary, it's static. But if we look at the wood on this table with a microscope, we would see all the movement in the wood, that it's vibrating on a frequency. When we die, our body seems dead and not moving. But if we looked at it with a microscope, we would see that it's still moving. The cells are still moving. There's movement. There's frequency there. Why? That's how continuous change has to happen. That's how our body goes from a living tissue to dust It has to change into it. We might not see it happening, but it is happening. And the more we become aware and have an understanding of how everything is in constant movement, we're in an ocean of motion. As Bob Proctor would say, we just need, our job is to become more aware and conscious of that that's going on within us. And that's powerful stuff. Powerful stuff of our mind. The greatest thing in our life is our mind. It's the only thing we really don't have a visual picture of that we have to create. I forgot the name of the guy who created a visual picture of our mind. We got our conscious mind, if you see it as a circle, and there's a conscious and a subconscious half to each. And coming into our conscious mind is everything with our five senses, right? What we see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. And then we have our subconscious mind. Our conscious mind can accept or reject, but our subconscious accepts everything and starts to manifest what we've planted in it. If we plant something great, that's what grows. If we plant something negative and bad, that's what grows. We are the planters. Keep that in mind, everybody. We are the cause for our outside effects and circumstances. We are the divine center. No, we are a divine center. I heard that it was Kierkegaard, I think a French philosopher, who said, we are a divine center. A divine center. We are a divine center. Us. That means there's more than one center. That's how the omnipresence of what we call God is. It's everywhere, at all times, omnipresent. If you have a basketball, there's a center to that basketball. We could find it. If you're in a room, we could find that center. There's only one center. But we are a divine center. That means there's more than one. That's a concept that we need to really wrap our minds around, if we can. I got a hair in my eye. All right, let me know where you are in the world, everybody. I'm in the Thousand Island region of upstate New York. This is Morning Coffee with Cliff. So glad you're here. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I'm all about a community of progress, how we can get better every day in every way than we were yesterday. And we all have that divine center within us, that divine power that's indwelled within us. If we will be aware of it and apply it. Thank you, everybody, for your comments. Appreciate it. Hey, glad you're still with me here. Love it. Love the positivity. Appreciate attitude of gratitude. Even though it's a rainy day, I continued with my habit that I actually learned from Bob Proctor. And I heard it from somewhere else too. It's not a new concept. But it's every morning I write down, what am I most grateful for in my life? Now, before I can write that down, I have to ask myself that question. And so that's what my mind is thinking about in the morning, because I've habituated asking the question, what am I most grateful for in my life? And I begin to write that down. That causes me, by asking that question, what am I most grateful for? It causes me to think for that answer. Oh, I'm grateful for God and Jesus in my life. I write it down. My mom is still alive at 91, and we have a great relationship. I'm thankful for that. I have an attitude of gratitude. Someone new is in my life. God has directed my steps, caused a new person in my life, already giving me great joy. I'm thankful for a lot of other things, and I write those down. Those are my personal thoughts that I'm grateful for. What does that do? It creates an attitude of gratitude each morning because I've habituated asking the one question first. What am I most grateful for in my life? It makes me think about what I'm most grateful for. So my attitude every morning starts with an attitude of gratitude. And it'll begin to change you by habituating asking that question every morning. It will change how you start every morning. And you know, if you win the morning, there's a good chance you're going to win the day. You have got this. So glad to be connecting with you this great Monday, Motivational Monday, we can call it. But remember, have that mindset. When you start to have success, when you start to live your life abundantly, and maybe you buy some nice things like a new car, a new house, people are going to say, oh, big shot, huh? New car? Must be nice. I guess you're lucky. But yeah, you know you're lucky, of course. You have God's grace, but you know what you did in the darkness of the mornings, going to the gym, taking the classes, applying what you learned, right? Burning the midnight oil. Sometimes people will say, oh, you have a pension from your LA police job. Yeah, that's true. Oh, you're lucky. Well, I'm lucky, yes. But I also went Christmas after Christmas, Thanksgiving after Thanksgiving. I couldn't spend it with family because I had to be out on the streets patrolling for the betterment of society as a whole. But I served with an attitude of gratitude. I didn't have to. I got to. And that's the attitude that we should have. God, attitude is the magic word. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be listening today to Earl Nightingale's recording of his great message of attitude. Attitude is going to determine our altitude in life. Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me today on this live stream, Morning Coffee with Cliff. Glad you're here. If you have the gumption and the courage, jump here on the chat. Love to connect with you in this way we have going for us right now. It's great to be in the presence of other people, to be across the table, seeing each other eye to eye. But it's also great to connect in this way. Never been a better time to be alive. We can turn on a camera, we can live stream and connect with people in real time all over the world. All over the world. Think about that. There was a time in recent history where we had to buy advertising time on television and or radio to maybe connect with people and for people to be aware of our product or our service. Now, you can actually show people who you really are, what you think about, what you actually believe, and you can show your authentic self. Not your overly edited, polished self, but who you really are in person. And if people really like, know, and trust you, and they want your product or service, they're probably going to buy from you. You're actually not selling to people, you're helping them buy. And that's the key to connection. And that's the key to selling. And we're all selling in one form or another. Even if we're just looking to expand our friendships, we're selling our friendship to other people. We're trying to convince them, you know what? I'm providing you with an opportunity to connect with me and be my friend. And you're going to benefit from it. And if people don't take that opportunity, that's their loss, not yours. Yeah, Les Robbins says, you have greatness within you, and you do. If I believe it, now all you have to do is believe it yourself. Keep building your self-image. Maxwell Maltz, the great plastic surgeon who discovered how powerful our self-image is, what we think about ourselves, and that we can never outperform